want fun? Wario show you fun.
I know. 3 Batwoman videos in a row. Well, I'm on a roll. Different video next time, I promise. So I want to start by making another comment on the Crisis on Infinite Earths shit. I'm gonna bring up when it's necessary, but otherwise ignore it, because really, it's ignored by the entire show besides like 1 or 2 nitpick things. I don't want to bring up the same shit over and over again, because otherwise I'd be repeating myself every 5 minutes instead of repeating myself every 10 minutes like usual. But the major thing is that the universe itself is completely unaffected now, even though the magic dudes changed so much and apparently molded multiple universes together, as if that makes sense. So nothing changed other than very isolated things that have no consistency and go away when they want to, but I digress. Another thing is that I did miss and get something very wrong in the Crisis video from sheer fucking confusion and just not really understanding what the fuck was happening. So being a non-comic fan myself, I can't really soothe your pain, especially because of the stuff that I missed, but I also had this big segment that I wanted to talk about with how I don't like it when books that I love get turned into shitty movies and things like that, so I understand it, but I never ended up talking about that because I always get distracted by the stupid memes and end up forgetting parts of what I was supposed to write in the script. So there's a lot of stuff that I actually wanted to talk about that I realized I completely forgot for the entire series. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of chug along as normal, and then when we get to the final part of the series, when I do the finale, I'm going to have a bit after that where I just talk about all of that stuff. And especially talking about what I think should be done instead of just complaining about stuff, trying to offer a bit of solution or something. Anyway, we're gonna just go back to focusing on what's happening this episode. Welcome back to Wish for Death Island. Kill me. The music that opens this episode is complementing this footage of the subway, but it makes it look like it's one of those annoying ads for cars or perfume or like a SIM card or something, like, you know the ones I'm talking about. Get this new Land Rover and drive around the city at night because you're cool now because of a fucking car. Gay. The train misses its stop and goes even faster while people start falling over inside, and let me tell you, the CGI looks fantastic. Batwoman is, of course, on the case to make things work. I mean, better. And she's pretty far behind the train, but I guess that she's gonna somehow get there first and stop it just in time. Unless she slows it down gradually by manipulating the tracks somehow so that it has time to slow down safely without making everyone turn into mincemeat. It's going to end up skidding and at least injure a few people from the impact of them flying into the walls and stuff. Every time they show the train from the outside, it looks like garbage. Oh my god, you guys, don't look at the Mario 64 beta, you're gonna die. The Penguins creepypasta. Hey Bill, what's the budget for this show? How much did the wig cost? $20. $21. But somehow she catches up on her bike with the power of editing. Why do you have that grapple with you? Wait, no, that...
Fast as fuck, boy.
So she makes an anchor point in the ground, but the thing is, it's not down far enough to actually touch the ground. It doesn't look like that to me. It's just gonna be dragging gravel and rocks around. And even if it's stuck into the ground, that'd be pretty fucking generous. But we're gonna be generous because in the first episode, a knife got embedded into concrete when it was thrown by a skinny white girl, so I have no idea how that's... I'm just not gonna try. But the other part goes to the train, to stop the train, and it stops it instantly just before it crashes, but despite the speed and the sudden force of stopping from the indestructible grapple of power, everyone jolts to the side slightly and then just stops. It's fine. You know, when people defend this show, they always say something along the lines of, well, it's fiction, you don't expect it to be entirely realistic. No, of course I don't. I can ignore a lot of things and just enjoy the movie, believe me. But this is not it. This is in no way something that you can just ignore. If this is just a little unrealistic, then I don't want to know what your other standards are. Then the hook breaks, but it's okay because Muscles McFuckboy is here to save her from what the audience really wants to happen. Gee, I wonder if they're going to emasculate and make him evil for the sole reason of hating men and making Kate superior for no other reason besides bitterness. I mean, what did he really do? He only saved her life. No, we're going back to the train again because this is retarded. Do you remember there's this one picture of 3 girls who saw an incoming train on the tracks and decided to make a selfie, and it was a fatal decision because they couldn't hear the guy desperately honking the horn because they couldn't get out of the way in time, and then they died after taking that picture. It was doing the rounds on a lot of those haunting pictures with horrible backstories and stuff like that. Remember how it was impossible for the train to stop with this distance? Yeah, basic information about trains there. Going off topic for a little bit though, talking about those pictures, do you ever just get really freaked out by the Lisanne Froon and Chris Kramer's one? the Panama one. I can watch videos on that for days and still get freaked out, no matter how many times I hear it. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Are we shipping these two?
No, let's not. I love how fucking Rachel Maddow was so hyped up for the show. All she does is say things that are somehow not as cringy as the stuff that she says in real life. This guy's name is Slam Bradley, which sounds like a porn name or something, and Kate is just annoyed by him stealing her thunder and saving her life.
Why is this guy suddenly everywhere that I am?
Maybe it's because you're too fucking stupid to cover your tracks. But Luke starts babbling about him, and apparently people do think that they're dating, or doing that thing that people do on Tumblr where they ship everything that moves. But on Tumblr it's usually fujoshis who use the word heteronormative if you say that their ship doesn't really make sense and they get really angry at you. I don't understand those people.
I'm very, very gay.
The less they know about you, the easier it is to keep you a secret.
So I guess they're setting this guy up to be Zap Brannigan or something, but he has a personality that everyone actually likes, and he saves people and he's attractive apparently. So naturally he's being shipped with other popular superheroes, but at least you can tell why he's popular, unlike Kate. Kate says that she's the one who saves more people, and that means that she's better. She walks off and Luke decides to look at the news where Jacob has evidence mounting up against him, even though I'm pretty sure that he was the one who had evidence that he didn't do it. Meanwhile, Alice is having a tea party next to the gravestone of the mum who she killed last episode, and she's just doing this in broad daylight with a massive umbrella. This has been going on for like a routine thing, apparently, which makes me wonder why the fuck no one has ever called the police or the crows to show up and take these guys out if they make it so easy. No, you don't just spill the tea like that in front of me! And then Mouse makes the good point of how Alice is stupid if she thinks that Kate actually wants to be a family with her after all of the things that she's done, and she doesn't want to hear that. I mean, to be honest, the way that Kate acts in this series like a genuinely evil person, it seems like she probably would want something like that.
It's another strand in your unraveling cytosis.
Dialogue written by me, Cameron Mitchell. Asian is talking about her problems on her special influencer phone on its special influencer stand. Kate walks in, so Asian is like, OMG, remember when my mom died because your sister poisoned her and me? That was cool. And then Kate's trying to come across like a kind of apologetic person, which is rare for her, while they're talking because Asian is still mad at her, but Ruby Rose can't act, so it's just kind of smug.
I am looking for a plastic surgeon willing to testify that facial placement is a great way to... You could tell your sister just stopped defiling my mom's grave.
Asian brings up that she knows that Alice is going to the gravesite, but she doesn't even give a shit enough to go to the police or the crows or even Batwoman herself. Why does no one care? Kate actually does apologize, but Asian is like, well, you didn't want to believe that Alice is bad, but I do, so yeah.
I know you never wanted to believe that your sister could be capable of doing something so horrible, but I did.
Which is valid, and I actually like that they finally gave Asian something to say to hold Kate accountable, because that never happened before. But my issue is how they frame it. Like, Asian is very angry, so why is she framing it like something that lets Kate off the hook? Because you're kind of saying it like, it's just because you want to believe that she is a good person, instead of saying something that is more holding her to accountable in a more aggressive way, like saying Kate is giving too many chances to a psycho and leaving the actual sister that she grew up with to chase after this chick and not understanding how it wrecks every family dynamic that they have. Something that actually points out how bad she is behaving here. But I think that the reason that they phrased it this way, that they're probably trying to make it a tamer thing to have Asian easily forgive her in the show and say that Kate was right all along, and it's just, I know exactly what they're doing. They're not even going to address it, they just try and downplay everything bad that Kate does because Kate is holy. Look, I act like I hate everything about this show, but it does have some people and ideas. I'm assuming all the good ideas from the comics. We get glimpses of goodness that almost feel like an accident because they left some lines from the source material in and forgot to edit them out with their Tumblr vision. For example, Luke's actor is good, and he's punished for this in the show. I think that he's definitely someone that I would watch on screen if he was given a chance. Asian being angry at Kate is a good thing because she should be angry at her, but I can already tell that the show is not giving her the justice that she needs. Jacob is an estranged dad that means well. He doesn't get a break from the show. He could easily just make some mistakes and then you find out that he's actually a good guy, but he's just doing it wrong and he needs to open his mind a little more, but they're treating him like he's Satan. The mom does she have to be evil? Like, I don't think of her as a perfect family member, but you could even make something about how she's not a bad person, but she's so obsessed with this idea of people thinking she has the perfect family that she ends up doing bad things. And it would make her like a parallel with Alice, even though Alice is way worse than her. It would be an interesting juxtaposition. Black Lightning's story, even unintentionally, is one of her realizing that she's bisexual through her experiences with Kate, but also when Kate stepped back into her life, she has to come to terms with the fact that she was in an abusive relationship with Kate because Kate is aggressive and terrible, and her sexuality awakening is unfortunately tied with this terrible abusive event. And then, because of the dynamic that she never got over, she eventually slips back into those traumatic tendencies when Kate comes back into her life, and only realizes this when her husband leaves her, and her job is threatened because of her performance. The only real way that she's going to get away from this and back to a normal life is if she cuts Kate out. This is a good story in there somewhere, but I don't really see it because the show loves Kate too much and it just makes me kind of sad. Another thing is, some people like to bring up that this character isn't bisexual and she's repressing, and that's why she was with the husband and she's realizing it now that she's with Kate. And I do understand what you're saying, but the reason that I and so many people bring up the bisexual angle and how they're treating bisexual people, that they clearly don't write this well. Like, I know it could be repression, but it's written as so badly that it ends up just being insulting to everyone else. So it's not that I don't understand what they're going for, it's just that they're terrible at going for it. That's the whole point. Anyway, Kate walks out knowing that Asian is a bit too mad right now, and we move on to them investigating the train stuff, where Luke makes the reference to a Scarecrow incident referencing The Dark Knight. This makes the trains unhackable, but somehow they got hacked, letting us know we're dealing with a computer person who can hack trains. Kate somehow is let into this crime scene, and then she goes in without gloves and turns shit off randomly. This understandably makes Luke annoyed because she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, but it's revealed that she does know what the fuck she's doing because she somehow knew that the tracker they're looking for had a big red light on it that is exactly in the vicinity, and she'd be able to figure it out. And the fact that it has a big red light on it is something that the police and the FBI never thought about before because they needed Kate to do it. Luke explains that it's some sort of scrambler, which makes it so that the traffic was blocked so the hacker could go in and monopolize it. Then emojis. They all get this message on their phones talking about digging and hacking.
I love to dig, because when I dig, I find all the secrets. If I can hack your subway, I can hack your phone. Computer.
I can hack anything. I can hack a microwave. I can hack a Tiger handheld. She needs them to crowdfund her escape from Gotham, a max headroom with furries. This is the episode. In the Batcave, we get to see the reaction of the higher ups in the city. They're like, we have layers of cybersecurity, which reminds me of when the YouTubers that I follow shill NordVPN and say that it protects your computer. A VPN is not an antivirus. Say it with me. A VPN is not an antivirus. It's just shit that they shill to you to go off of fear so that you buy a fucking VPN. VPNs are important, but it's not an antivirus. Plus, NordVPN had a massive fucking data breach once and never told anyone about it until it got leaked. Don't trust a company that doesn't tell you about a data breach. Fucking ExpressVPN is better. I'm not sponsored by anyone, I'm just sick of seeing NordVPN everywhere acting like they didn't do anything wrong. I'm not mad at the people shilling it, people gotta eat, but seriously, if you're looking for a VPN, don't fucking go with NordVPN, they're not good. The hacker is like, here's the mayor's credit card rolling across the screen all dramatically and you can't actually read it because it's too fast. And then Kate's like, oh no, we have to stop him. And Luke informs her that she has to be careful because she is the most famous person in Gotham right now. Now I understand that because she's related to Bruce and took over his building, but I still don't see why she's that famous. I don't see where her money is coming from. I don't see why people give a shit about her or what she does for the community. But regardless, it's a good point. Then she says that they should try to hack the tracker to find the IP address and then hack the hacker, and she wants to use Batcave internet because she's retarded, and no one thought that the hacker could probably pinpoint her location and then be able to get into everything and destroy everything. Luke realizes this, but he's doing that stupid thing where even though he's acting like what she's doing could ruin their lives or kill them, he's just like fluttering his hands around going, no, it's not a good idea to do that. So she just does it anyway. And then the lab makes computer noises. Meanwhile, in jail, Jacob is in the cafeteria looking very depressed. He finds a razor blade in his food and he's like, oh, I don't like razor blade flavor, I'll come back on Taco Tuesday, I'm allergic to death. But someone sits next to him and establishes there's a target on his back because he put half of the people in here away. He talks to Asian on the phone about evidence and she says that the only thing they can do is find Alice, which she is perfectly capable of doing because she knows that Alice goes to the gravestone, but apparently that's not a thing. And they also want to force a confession, which is illegal. illegal. But Kate is on the move again after the computer ring.
This place is definitely giving me Mr. Robot vibes.
Can you just reference Mr. Robot like that in your show? But she manages to find Black Lightning losing her nerve and becoming aggressive.
Oh, now you want to talk.
No. Close that fucking door!
Up until last night, you were just rejects working for a Russian hacking ring who got off on stealing social security checks from old ladies.
She just smacks this dude and then stares off in the distance all angsty and goes out of the room. She's able to hear a clang from the ever so stealthy bat and goes to have a chat with her.
I know you're there.
No.
You ever feel like you're hiding from the world?
I'm literally standing in a shadow.
She confesses that her husband left her and she's tired of hiding it all and not being able to be who she is, and Kate is like,
We all wear a mask. Maybe it's time you took yours off.
and Black Lightning's like,
You're one to talk.
yes, that is the fucking point of me saying that, thank you, dumbass. Asian goes to and explains how Alice used the skin masks to fake being Jacob, but the doctor is like, nah, and calls it sci-fi. Why? Crazier things have happened. You have super people in this world now. But the twist is that Dr. Feelgood is actually the skin mask dad who took Alice when she was a kid. So he's disguised as Dr. Feelgood, so I know he has incentive to make it seem like these things are far-fetched to try and slow them down. But my question still stands, because why do people think that this is so far-fetched when it's happened before? Meanwhile, Kate is like, I'm lying to the city by letting them think Batwoman is not gay. That's her job though. Do I have to explain this?
And I let people believe that I'm dating Captain America. Well, part of that is courageous.
Kicking bad guys' asses to protect your city.
You were always my favorite.
Luke knows this too, but he's still putting up with her shit. She says that she's the paragon of porridge?
Paragon of courage.
As if that makes any sense for why she should come out as gay as Batwoman. You can't just say that as a phrase. Man, I wish Batwoman was gay. Oh, yeah, porridge. I mean, it's just gonna tie it back to you and put you in danger, but you sure go for it. He shows her this weird ball thing that kills everything electronic for 30 seconds and says that the hacker has a firewall big enough to block it so that they can use that to scan for whichever device can withstand the block thing, so they can find it. Oh, my computer got unplugged. Don't worry, I have a VPN installed, so that means my computer won't turn off when it's unplugged. Software makes sure that my computer doesn't need to worry about electricity, because hardware and software are the exact same thing. Oh, I threw my phone in the pond. That's fine, I have antivirus on my phone. That means the water won't go in. They do some enhancing, and then Kate discovers this fucking ambience noise with her fucking dolphin sonar ears and uses it to track it down to her old high school. Asian and Black Lightning have been talking about finding Alice and freeing Jacob. Asian suddenly sees Alice just walking around the university in a brown wig and alerts Black Lightning. Kate, in high school, crashes the prom, dropping into the middle of the fucking dance floor. Everyone is like, oh wow, it's her, let's take a selfie, and she just stands there and lets them. What if someone pulls off her cowl? When Batwoman just shows up like this and lets them take selfies, like why do they believe that it's her and not someone else? The whole thing about them is like they're like a shadow. They're so hard to find. When someone shows up like this so readily, how are they sure it's not an imposter? But she manages to drop the ball thing and immediately sees the device and goes off to the bathroom where it is. Why didn't you just drop it and stay on the roof and watch it from a high point or something? I'm not sure how the sonar that you have works. What if she went off to the other side of the school? What if you just couldn't see it? I'm very confused. Bitch, I see you there trying to download cracked Photoshop from Root Tracker.
Wouldn't shoot a policeman and then steal his helmet.
But she confronts the girl and shows her the recording and argues with her.
Thought you were some badass crime fighter.
Yeah, let me throw my fucking batarang and almost kill you. That's a good response.
Chill. Why don't chill?
I think all of your ex-girlfriends can tell me that, darling. So her motive is...
I just thought if I scare my parents into thinking I almost died, they'd just be happy I was alive.
Then why involve an entire train of hundreds of people that could have actually died? Why don't her parents care about her?
I'm, gay.
The entire thing is about gay people now. You almost killed a train filled with people because you're gay.
Heteronorm and aspiring to be represented by an ancillary character on my favorite TV show.
Gay bathhouses and
everyone's shipping you in the hottest guy in Gotham.
Actually, instead of complaining this time, let me offer how it could have worked if I had to deal with this plot. This chick grows up in a homophobic family, and because she is anxious, she isolates and ends up doing this as a cry out for help. But the problem is, she doesn't realize that no one actually gives a shit about her being gay because her entire world has revolved around her family, and she kind of extrapolated that to the rest of the world. So she needs to be arrested because the thing is, she still did something wrong, and she has a sub-story, but that's not gonna get you anywhere. The people on the train probably had sub-stories as well, yet they're not the ones who are driven to do that kind of thing. So she has two options. When she gets out of jail, she can eventually hopefully turn her life around, but it also comes with this weird tragedy side of it that she might just isolate herself because now she's gone from one thing that felt like a prison, a family, to another actual prison, and that might make her fall in line with some very unhealthy people to fixate on, to make her worse of a criminal. So in the end, she might need to be put away again because she can't be helped anymore, even though you can see the threads of why, in her warped sense of justice, what she thought she could do. Your sense of victimhood focuses on the wrong thing and exaggerates, and it hurts others as well as yourself if you don't get help. There are a lot of people who do get help and end up getting out of that mindset, so you really have no excuse here, and they shouldn't be promoting this kind of thing. But enough of that. Let's see how Batwoman apprehends.
What are you doing?
Why are you letting her go? She almost killed hundreds of people. Is Alice secretly gay too? Is that why you keep letting her go? You never asked Hush if he was gay. How is this fair? What type of Batwoman character are you? The blonde? The other blonde? The 12-year-old boy? So back to Asian's problem. Oh good, the best detectives ever are at the university. That'll stop them. But Alice isn't there. Oh no, she's here for the gay chick now. Wow, this fight between two skinny white girls is really interesting. Why are you just standing there? She got knocked out by a fucking trumpet. And then the other lady does a run toward the bad guy instead of the other way. Why are you running towards her? And then she also gets knocked out by the power of music. How is she not fully knocked out, but Batwoman was completely knocked out and Batwoman has that like gimp mask on? So wait, she ties up the one that doesn't have any power, the gay teenager, and she has that big saw there, but she didn't bother tying Kate up. She just let the actual superhero with superhero things go, and she took the ordinary teenager. I think we found the real threat here. Where did you leave Kate? She's walking up to you as if you just left her in the hallway. What was the point of this?
I need you to figure out that you are not a hero.
How does this set up that? I mean, she's not a hero, but what are you doing? Wouldn't tying Kate up as well accomplish this a bit better? Like, if she can't reach the gay lady in time and you kill the gay lady and then Kate feels responsible because she couldn't do anything, why would you just leave her standing there? Oh yeah, because Kate's stupid. So there's a cut to Asian, and Black Lightning thinks Asian is going nuts because they checked every single dorm and could not find Alice.
We'd rather be doing anything other than feeling our feelings.
And then Asian snaps out at her, so much drama, and then we go back to the best superhero ever. Alice says that Kate is obsessed with people who don't want to be saved, and I think that's the complete opposite of Kate's problem. Kate picks and chooses who she saves and claims that she's for everyone. She'd rather save one gay person and condemn a million others to die by Alice's hand, because she's only interested in saving the gays that agree with her. And then she has the audacity to claim that she cares about the other LGBT people and use them as a part of her branding to get more support, because if you don't like her, you're just homophobic. Alice makes some crazy noises.
Give it up! Give up! Give up!
And Kate sounds just really fucking bored, telling her to stop, as she threatens a teenager's life.
Alice, stop! Stop it! Do it!
But then she just stands there for a while and takes her cowl off, and the other bitch is like, OMG, why didn't you tell me you were gay?
Why didn't you say you were super gay?
Is that what's important right now?
I like drive by your real estate firm every day.
But she doesn't even use it. Ugh. But Alice's plan is to get the other girl to out Kate as the Batwoman, and then somehow do something with that somehow. Kate has come to your lair before. Why didn't you just record her coming to your lair and having a conversation with her, and then release it to the world to out her? And then people will think that she works with you and not trust her, so she has no choice but to return to you. Why don't you use that to turn the world against her? Why are you just... I don't understand. Then she fucks around a bit before she says that she has a bomb in the high school, so that's the thing. She then says gay lady must hack the phones to out Kate and everyone's text messages. She'll blow up the school. So lady sends a notification. I assume that it's telling everyone that there's a bomb in the high school, but sends the actual message that Alice wanted to Alice's phone alone, so she thinks that she sent that message to everyone. Like, that's not revealed, but we know that that's what happened. Then Alice lets her go, and Kate has this like magic bracelet fly out and attach to Alice's arm. Why did you not use this before? What is that? How does that work? What's it made out of? Did you have this the entire time?
Doesn't take a hero to know what pure evil looks like.
but that's you.
Are we the baddies?
Alice says her usual thing that she says every single episode about how, oh, woe is me, oh sweet catastrophe, where have you been? I've looked for you so While she's talking, the crows show up and everyone has made it out of the high school safely, so that's cool. Mouse is being the cheeky lad and detonates the bomb, thinking that it's going to kill people. How did you even get that bomb in there? Why does it look like the Cybermen from the beginning of Doctor Who? What the fuck? But Zap McFuck is here and he's like, oh no, a bomb. I must stand in the doorway all of a sudden because I don't have any reflexes. I traded them for some art online because I couldn't pay an exposure. And Batwoman has to save him, because no man in the series can have anything. But everyone chants at them to kiss, and Kate is so attractive to all of the men, but she's too good for him, and the day is saved by being cock-blocked, I guess. So the gay lady walks into Wayne Building, which she is allowed to do now, and she is friends with this bitch. You really do love murderers, don't you? Killing people in a train is just an idea, it's not real. And after trying to kill hundreds of people, she only gets community service for that, and she is expected by Kate to pay everyone back for the GoFundMe thing, but she claims that she was an outcast and pushed to do this because she was outed by someone in high school, and I guess that justifies trying to murder people. Then they bring up some fluff about standing proud, but gay lady is like, wow, even the amazing Kate the Mary Sue is a gay like me? A peasant like me? She does fuck up a lot, but the show treats her like she's perfect, so as far as I'm concerned, that's still a Mary Sue, because all of the fuck ups seem to unintentionally work. But Alice was actually caught this time, and she's already trying to play up the stupid interviewer having the table turned on them Hannibal Lecter thing. You know that's gonna happen, and I am not ready for it. But then it's revealed that Kate did a cover girl shoot as Batwoman and allowed them to interview her, and then she came out as gay to them all, which is about the dumbest thing she could have done. Even Luke, who sometimes has the tiniest bit of sense, is like, no, gay is good, and saying that she isn't an idiot for this one. And then he baked her a cake too.
Hey?
Okay, people, time to recalibrate our gaydar.
Make sure it's calibrated to your longer arms.
Whatever happened to politics staying out of our superheroes?
Well, let's see. Superhero comes out as a specific identity and gives interviews to make them seem more like a specific person, to out themselves and put their loved ones in danger to make them easier to track, which also removes their status as a symbol, and something that is designed to scare villains as the vagaries become everything that they need to see, because it's like fear of the unknown, so they make the fear in their minds about who this person could be as a force in the shadows instead of a human, so she can defeat them more easily through intimidation tactics. But now she's just some flawed person that anyone could easily defeat if they wanted to, and then you have people who act like everything is political and they make gay things political when normal gay people just want to chill and live their lives. So you end up with people getting annoyed at you, but since you hijacked what gay means for your own purpose, you can just call them homophobic even if they're gay themselves and they're trying to criticize you. And then you can just keep stomping over everything else. Maybe that's an interesting thing to say coming from you lot. And then Kate and Asian hug it out, even though they didn't really speak that much this episode or do any actual reconciliation at all. Yet Kate is forgiven. Remember that episode of Red Letter Media when they reviewed Ryan's Babe and that one movie before, like the kick fights or whatever it's called, where Jack talks about how the universe itself is making them do things in a pattern and they're stuck like that forever? It's kind of like that's what's happening here. Everyone just gravitates toward Kate whether they like it or not. Oh no, brown hair Alice is here. It turns out that this Alice is Beth, who is the original sister, and for some reason she's in this universe. But Kate doesn't realize this and starts choking the bitch.
Who are you?
I'm new in town.
Okay, so this already doesn't make any sense and it's confusing on its own, but for those of you who don't understand it because you weren't following as much, let me just do like a backtrack so you get it. So Kate and her sister Beth and her mum were all in a car crash and Batman tried to save them, but he failed, so that's why he abandoned the city. Kate was the only one out of all of them who survived, and then she grew up with her dad, Jacob, who remarried Asian, and that's how we ended up with the stepsister. But they didn't know that the daughter, Beth, didn't actually die in the car crash. She kind of fell out and was taken in by this creepy dude who found her. He kept her captive and told her to make skin masks for his ugly son, and then she went insane from the abuse that because he's like a psychopath, and she became Alice because of the Alice in Wonderland book that she used as a coping mechanism. Then Jacob thought that she was dead and stopped looking for her because his new wife had paid off the cops to say that Beth was dead and they'd found her. And then that's how Alice came back to get revenge because she's sad that Jacob didn't look for her. Now, back in the shitty crossover from last episode, Supergirl was like, yo Kate, have this picture of you and Beth from another universe where she was saved and never became Alice. And now it's implying that in the crossover, even though it didn't make sense. It somehow produced Beth to exist in the same Gotham as Alice for some reason. Yeah, I know, it doesn't make any sense, but we're rolling with it. Beth seems to not give a single fuck that she's in a different universe as well. She's just like, haha, my apartment complex has vanished overnight, that's cool.
Bad enough that they converted my apartment into a boys' dorm room and no one chose to.
Why would Beth even go up to Wayne Tower in this universe anyway? Does it imply that Batman just gave up in every universe? I'm confused. Whatever, man, we're just living in virtual insanity, man. Every copy of Batwoman is personalized.
Reach me with that hand. Reach me with that hand. You cannot.
So in this recap of the scene from the last episode, Beth maces Alice and just runs off. And Kate grunts even though it's fucking mace and she should be having a bigger reaction. The one time you're actually trying to end Alice's life as well is it's not even Alice. It smash cuts to actual Alice who is in the interrogation room, and she has flashbacks to this shit when she was a kid again. Mouse comes in and gives her a cat in a box and the evil dad doesn't know about the cat. I don't know how the fuck she's gonna feed it or take care of it when she has it down here, but they hide it in time for Evil Man to come down and stand there menacingly. Recall from way back when, there was a scene where Beth was like, why won't you help me escape? And this kid Mouse is like, well, I don't want you to escape because I want to be your friend with my abusive dad. So, but apparently she's okay with this now, because I would have thought she would have gotten angry at him, but she seems fine with it.
What'd you wish for? To see my sister and father.
But he's like, if you ever make a wish, you can't say it out loud because then it won't come true, even though she just said her wish out loud, so she gets freaked out. And then it goes back to present day Alice in the interrogation room, and we're supposed to feel sorry for her even though she's a murderer. But Jacob says that they shouldn't even bother interrogating her, she's just gonna give them nursery rhymes and shit, which is stupid because she murdered people. You should at least ask her a question, especially because you're in jail and you need her to give you a confession for you to get out of jail, you fucking idiot. But Black Lightning wants to try, so she hangs up without telling him because it looks cool. I guess he's on the other line going, oh, okay, she just hang up, right. Kate comes in and she's like,
she showed up in my office just now. She's been in a holding cell for the last 8 hours.
Is that a live feed?
What kind of a stupid question is that? No, it's a fan cam. Why are you even allowed in here? But no, this time she actually is in there because she needs to report to Black Lightning about how she saw another version of Alice in the Wayne building. But asking is that a live feed is still a stupid question because one, obviously she's gonna say it's a live feed. If anything, you should have said something like, I saw Alice, maybe she somehow hijacked the feed to make it look like a loop. We've got to check if it's a live feed or not or something like that. Lead with what you want. Don't just be like, are you recording Alice right now? They're back at the building and Luke says that Beth's ID is very real. Asian discovers that she's super smart and studying space and shit at the school because every woman is so smart in the series that they have a master's degree at the age of 4.
Theoretical extragalactic astrophysics and cosmology.
Kate magically knows Beth still uses her password from when they were kids, and she realizes that this is actually Beth because of the pictures that they have together, which in this universe could have easily been faked because, like I said, you have someone who can impersonate the faces of other people and their voices. Alice could have taken someone from her gang, made Kate's face, put it on that gang member and taken a picture of her, made it to specifically drive Kate crazy. This is a thing that could have been done. It makes no fucking sense anyway. But in this universe, you've established that this is something that can happen. Asian leaves, and I noticed that she's wearing a buckle behind her, like Caesar wearing his suspenders the wrong way. But then Kate and Luke have this conversation where they explain that the Earths went into a blender, and then Beth's combined with their one, and I can assume just fused together and turned to goop somehow. Beth is the only one that came over for some reason. What happened to the rest of the universe? Did they die? But Kate gets excited because she realizes that maybe there's no crash and that Beth just showed up over here. But she knows how to find Beth at the swing where they used to go and get waffles or whatever.
Nobody else even knows who I am.
Yet she's not freaking out more. She wasn't freaking out at all at that idea. And she goes on to explain how miserable and terrified she is, and right after she explains all of that, Kate's like,
what's happening?
My wish came true.
So we're back at the interrogation room and they have to charge her with a crime, and we do know that she does them a lot. She's killed a lot of people, but it seems like they're not going off of one crime in particular here. It just looks very unprofessional. It looks like they just scooped her up and shoved her in here, which is illegal. But she's acting all high and mighty, and we're gonna get the hell of a psychological Hannibal manipulation, man. She's like, there's a surprise being planned and acts all quirky, because we know she's gonna escape this episode. Mouse sends a video to the crows being like, I have Brian and the other man, and they're like, oh no, not Brian.
Commissioner Forbes' son, and
Brian.
Can you trace where this video is coming from? Anyways, Kate takes Beth to the gay bar and both of them have a remarkably fine chat with the idea that the Earths have fucking blended.
So my dad was still the head of the crows on your Earth?
Yeah.
As if that's a completely normal thing to ask. Everyone you know might be dead, they might have been Evangelioned, they might have been turned into mush. She explains that in her universe the crash still happened, Beth was saved by Kate. Kate feels guilty in this universe because she didn't save Beth in this universe, and she doesn't know what to say. Why is Beth not asking about the weird way that Kate is interacting? Like, she didn't do that at all. She's just like, oh well, you know, whatever. Like, if I somehow ended up in another universe and one of my friends ends up reacting like I was like a serial killer or something, I would immediately wonder what the fuck I did in that universe to get that reaction. Meanwhile, on the news report, Batwoman's signal has not been put on because they don't like her being gay, which is implied by CNN over here asking leading questions to the cops about it. The cops are like, haha, politics bad. They really are running with the idea that in this universe being gay is political by default, which is really frustrating for me to watch. But the real reason why they wouldn't be putting it on is because Kate causes more harm than good because she's evil. Meanwhile, Black Lightning gives Alice her book and says that they ran it through a bunch of science things and didn't find anything.
Thermal imaging, even an ion mobility spectrometer.
Wait, why do you run it through an ice cream mobility scooter? What does that do? She says that it set her free and then goes into a flashback where the evil man is trying to make the mask for his retarded son and it doesn't look good. He's like, the glue won't set, and then rips it away. Wow, I think I know where the entirety of the BP oil spill went. But then it goes back to her in the present day and she talks about being trapped and looks at Black Lightning, and she should have just turned to the camera at this point. Black Lightning is already nervous after like 5 minutes, so I guess we're gonna be in for an interesting time. Kate is asking Luke about the hostages while she's walking down the street. He gets really preachy and says stuff about the bat signal being turned off because Gotham is misogynistic and homophobic and it's bad. And then Kate is like, oh no.
So they'd rather avoid a political hot potato than that woman saved the kid of one of their own? That's crazy.
But then Luke says that she got Beth back and Kate gets this like motivation thing going and she rides off.
You got Beth back.
And then she gets hit by a truck. Her two weaknesses are trombones and vehicles, it seems. Mouse gets out, so it seems like this was on purpose, but how did they know that she was going down this road, able to get ahead of her and then take her down this angle by waiting for the specific moment and the specific street at the specific... Like, how does this work? Do they secretly have a tracker on her? How did they know that she was going to end up going down these roads? Wouldn't it be more simple to, like, since you can mimic voices, like pretend to be Luke or something and then have her come down to a specific street to kill her? How was she not more hurt than this? She got hit by a fucking truck and she's not wearing her suit. Plus, if Mouse did actually kill her, because you later see that he's taking her hostage, what would he do if they don't have a hostage anymore because she's just dead? She wakes up in a car with the rest of the hostages and only has a small cut after the whole thing, and Mouse calls Black Lightning to say that he has her.
I may have someone that they might care a bit more about.
Birmingham, if you want the fucking door, come down to the hospitality, I'll come out of the house and I'll break your fucking legs, you know, prick.
Black Lightning does that double speak thing with Kate where they talk in code, but it's so obvious that no one would be able to not see that that's what they were doing, especially when she replies, I understand.
Let Alice go. Let Alice go.
Do you understand?
I understand.
Meanwhile, Beth walks into the building and Luke blurts out that Kate got kidnapped and they're gonna imply that Beth is going to do something about it to solve the problem. But back with actual Alice, Black Lightning reveals that she was using coded language. Alice mentions that she and Mouse also have coded language, but their coded language is even more obvious because they're just straight up quoting a book.
Are there any lions or tigers about here? It's only the Red King snoring.
But Evil Man finds out about the cat and takes it. It implies that he killed it too because he's so evil and stuff. This is also meant to play up sympathy, and Black Lightning just don't give a fuck. Meanwhile, Beth only now figures out that Jacob is in jail, even though she didn't fucking ask about that before. You'd think that she would have. Luke says that her gang is so good that the retarded police are never able to get ahead of them. And she asks why they can't send backup to get the hostages, like, you know, a real SWAT team would do in real life, but they can't because Alice would have accounted for that. They also realize that Beth needs to pretend to be Alice to go and get the hostages back and thwart Mouse. But she knows nothing about Alice or her mannerisms or anything, so I'm not sure how they're going to bullshit out of this one. Turns out Black Lightning did actually feel sorry for Alice, and you know that Alice is going to do her guilt trip thing and escape, so I just don't know why I should care. She even tries appealing to Alice for like coming to the good side. She tried to murder you in the first episode.
Somewhere deep down, that little girl is still fighting to get out.
It flashes back to Alice being chewed out for the sweater. He throws this pre-shredded book onto the floor and she says that her dad is coming to kill him, but he revealed that she was replaced by the Asians. So she gets demoralized and admits that she made it. He's like, yo, you can knit a sweater so you can be a surgeon and make masks for my ugly son. And then he just pulls out some skin and tells her to get started. And then she just goes back onto script again and says the same fucking story over and over again. She's off on being left alone okay, we know. And then it shows Asian briefly talking about Alice to Beth and not really showing any video of her or anything. They're just kind of summarizing. They're giving her like a Wikipedia article version of what Alice is, and Beth starts feeling guilty. They really hammer home that Alice and Beth are the same person, and Beth gets all apologetic. Mouse is throwing gasoline on the car, which, I mean, they're gonna feel a bit toasty inside, but that doesn't mean that they're gonna die. Maybe you should have poured gasoline inside the car? But Beth shows up and perfectly mirrors Alice in every single way. So Mouse falls for it at first, but then there's some silence because she doesn't know what the fuck to say. And then Mouse uses coded language on her and she doesn't get it. So he rips her wig off, and I don't know what he suspects, that she's another skin mask man? And then he puts her in the trunk of a car, and she apparently hasn't been given any form of backup by Luke, any of the gadgets whatsoever. They just left her there with like lint in her pockets. What the hell? But don't worry, because Kate just manages to save the day. She busts out of the car, then she beats everyone up one at a time because they don't know how to attack her in groups, and Mouse gets impaled. He throws a lighter at the car so it gets set on fire. You can save them, you have time. But it goes back to this flashback, and Alice makes a face for the evil dad, and Mouse gives her fishing line for the book pages, so she fixes the book too. Wow, look at Bob the fucking builder over here. She closes her eyes and suddenly goes mental and transforms into Alice. That's it. That's how she becomes Alice. It just took like 5 seconds.
Call me Alice. Shall we have a tea party?
They pull a tea set out of her ass and have a party. Mouse just goes along with it. I guess he's fine with it.
That's how you dealt with all that trauma. By creating an entirely different reality.
Then Black Lightning just summarizes everything. Like, we get it, she created her own reality, we get it, Dr. Nick. Then she reverses it with Black Lightning again because of the gay stuff and it's all tense.
Lying to yourself and everybody else.
Then she tells them to take Alice to Arkham, even though that makes no sense. You could just keep her here and leave the room. You need answers from her, you idiot. Why are you giving up after like half an hour? But the book falls apart and then you can guess she escaped. If her hands were behind her, this wouldn't have happened. If she wasn't walking behind the guards instead of in front of them, this wouldn't have happened. If there were more guards, this wouldn't have happened. She also killed the 2 crows that were guarding her. I don't know how this is not Black Lightning's fault because she's so incompetent. She could have put more crows on her and done so many other things, including not just bursting into this like tantrum and sending Alice off out of the room. She knows how dangerous Alice is and she didn't account for any of it. She was the one who let her emotions get ahead of her, but I guess it's not her fault because woman. Alice makes this comment about the big gay and then disappears. This is all your fault. Why does the rest of the Crow's headquarters look so empty? Where is everyone? Where was the safety on the gun? Like, he takes so long to take out his gun, but she just takes it out immediately. I don't get it. But Mouse must have had some more gasoline with him because the whole car just goes up. And Kate needs to get Beth out, but she can't, and the other guys are dying, so she has to choose which one she's going to get. But it's fine because she suddenly spawns a crowbar and just saves the day.
Alice is back on the streets.
You seem fine with this. Black Lightning is still somehow working here and not being fired for her incompetence, and she has 6 people watching Mouse as he comes out of surgery, which means that she learned to not have 2 people around a major criminal, but still, why is she not stepping down for this? It's fine because she's bantering with Kate, so I guess she really doesn't give a shit about the people who just died. And then everyone demands for them to turn on the bat signal and have a party outside while pop music plays, and Kate jumps down from the roof. I hate this entire thing. Jacob chews Black Lightning out for being a retard, and the idiots celebrate at the bar and everything is fine. There's no type of drama like there was last episode, and Kate has no injuries from the truck. Beth is totally fine and doesn't care that she almost died, and Asian mumbles about quirky science universe stuff.
There are multiple, and then they all kind of pow, 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 pow.
Why does no one come to this bar? Do you ever open the bar? How do you make money? Oh yeah, it's also her birthday. They mentioned it earlier, I forgot. Oh no, they have headaches because they're both existing in the same universe. So the whole idea behind this is imagining the universes are coming together because the leftover bits need somewhere to go and combine with the other. Which makes no sense because it implies that Beth would not exist in this universe otherwise and is a leftover bit. Yet Alice is Beth, so would they not fuse together? What happened to everyone else? Like, there would have been other changes. If there are leftover bits, then like someone having a mailbox when they didn't have a mailbox before would have like ripped the universe open at this point. Every copy of Beth is personalized. So this Dr. Man from before is now talking to Jacob and Black Lightning because thanks to Mouse being captured, they now have evidence of the skin mask man. Despite this, the doctor is like, no,
you cannot.
But remember, this dude is actually the evil skin man, so I guess it makes sense. He leaves to...
I'll run a few tests.
You want to be more specific about that? And cuts to some crows running in and busting this door down because Black Lightning, who has not been fired for her terrible mistake, is running this Gotham-wide search for Alice, and she has this like shoot to kill order on her, so they're going to all of the seediest bits of Gotham to try and find her. She's going full militant and lost her nerve because she's getting crazier. Meanwhile, Beth is being sneaked out by Asian and Luke because they need to find a way for her to stop being sick. But they know it's dangerous out there now and they're like, oh, you know, your condition's getting worse. Which I don't really understand how they can tell how her condition is getting worse because like you don't actually know what her condition is. But Asian is a doctor, so... you know. Luke gets pissy and Asian says that she's having an asthma attack, which, are you sure? I know it's a misconception that you cannot talk at all during one of those, because you can, but if you did speak, people would know.
I can't breathe. Okay, now what the hell is the problem?
I'm obviously having an asthma attack and...
They stopped and Asian tries to say, do you know who I am, to the guard, but she doesn't succeed and Beth makes a noise in the back, which makes the guard ask to search the car. Asian says that it's a corgi, which is stupid.
Sure, that was my Yorkie automatic weapons giving me anxiety.
They really want to make Asian be the derpy character and ruin all of her good lines that have any weight, which is really insulting considering that she's the only one that calls Kate out. It's frustrating that they're just pushing her down for Kate. They're all being taken out and then Kate comes up just in time to save the day. Only she's not there just in time to save the day, she's way back there. How did you get that guy from all the way back there? But she arrives and beats everyone up so these guys escape. Then this guard gets killed by Alice, and why does it seem like the only way she's able to kill people is when they suddenly can't draw their gun in time? But oh no, she has the headaches as well, I wonder which one of them are gonna survive. And then it cuts to Beth back at the building? Wait, so you guys were running out of Gotham, and then you got saved by Batwoman, and then you just turned back around. Don't you think that it wasted Batwoman's saving you? Why didn't you leave? Why did you leave in the first place? Because you have the Batcave, why did you go outside? Plus, you have the bootleg hospital, why aren't you going there? Anyway, Kate comes in and they're like, whoa, Batwoman saved us. And Kate's like, yeah, I'm shit.
Her cells are disintegrating on a molecular level.
Disintegrating at a molecular level. She looks remarkably not like soup for that to be happening, but Beth says that her research was on this specific subject and says that she is not able to coexist with Alice and that one of them needs to die in order for the other to live. And how does she know this? Asian is able to give her an estimate of 7 hours as well. Somehow, like, she's like using the computer that Wilfred Brimley used in my least favorite part of The Thing to just like spit exposition. Asian suggests taking her to the hospital, I guess not the bootleg hospital, but I guess that's going to help the universe deletion somehow. If Supergirl exists in this world, why can't you just go and ask her? Aren't you all supposed to be in the same universe because you had that like Justice League thing going on? Alice got the uniform from the person that she killed, who is a man, yet it fits her perfectly, and she's able to sneak into the hospital because she keeps her hat down and the guard that's there doesn't look at her, ask for ID or ask her who she is or anything like that. Mouse is apparently under constant surveillance. I guess that's just one guy standing outside, and there's no one in the room, so when she gets in, she can talk to Mouse casually.
Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer day. The knave of hearts, he stole those tarts and...
He farts out some quotes at her and she freaks out at him freaking out, and he confesses to her that he saw someone that looked just like her and he doesn't know what to do. Where are the cameras? Why aren't people checking up on him? Why do the guards not know the faces of their fellows, check for clearance every once in a while? Because she just leaves. Black Lightning is faffing around with the crows and can't find Alice, even though Alice just like walked into a hospital. And then she says, OMG Batwoman, you beat up my guys at the border. And Batwoman just says, "You might be rude to Asian." There was that episode before involving Pennyworth, and Kate almost killed those crows to save Pennyworth, and Black Lightning didn't care back then, so I don't know why she cares now. But then she has a conversation where she tells Black Lightning to call off the shoot to kill order, and then says that she doesn't want to go down the road about killing innocents, because I guess they really want to talk about her losing her nerve.
Innocent lives in jeopardy.
Alice puts innocent lives in jeopardy.
Meanwhile, Jacob is in the bathroom. Oh no, he's gonna get... Don't drop the soap, Jacob. The boyfriend character, who we haven't seen in a while, walks in, and he wants payback, and he stabs him. Luke is ranting about bullshit back at Wayne Building, and Alice comes in. Alice and Beth face each other. But hang on, before that, they already implied in the conversation that they were having before that Kate is ignoring the idea that one of them has to die, which is retarded because you're choosing between a psychopath who killed hundreds of people and this girl. I'm not saying that you should enjoy making the decision, I'm just saying that the decision is pretty clear. But Beth and Alice just have themselves a talk, while Luke just stands there and doesn't freak out at the fact that Alice is in the building. Then Kate comes in and also just stands there, and she doesn't give a fuck either. All of the times that people have broken into this seemingly super high-tech unbreakable building, you don't think you'd start questioning it a little bit more? Even Beth starts sympathizing with Alice's sob story too. She is so obsessed with her sob story that she will tell even herself. And Beth tells her story and Alice is like, "Oh my god, you weren't portrayed like me?" They're not stopping Alice. Why are you just standing there? Also, I love how both of them just immediately say that it's Kate's fault, like Kate's the one who saved everyone and Kate's the one who chose not to save people. Kate was a child, and what if there were other circumstances that you don't know about? But Alice just keeps doing her stupid arm movements, then she just like makes a declaration that she's going to live and takes out a knife, but Kate grabs it just in time, and then they both get headaches. When Beth gets the headache, Alice takes the opportunity to run off. Luke is there looking after Beth, but Kate decides that she's just gonna stay there as well, even though she could run off to Alice. It's just so frustrating. So the boyfriend is still angry with Jacob and they keep fighting. Even though he's stabbed, he seems like he's doing okay. Where are the guards? He tries to drown Jacob in the toilet and then gives up.
You cannot.
Wait, how did you get across the room? Now he's losing a lot of blood all of a sudden, and then the boyfriend gives him a lecture about morals, and a black dude just touches the guy and he gets knocked out. He's like, "I got a target on my back for saving a cop, so you gotta return the favor." No one else is in this room. No one else saw you. What are you talking about? Wait, he's bleeding out. Why are you just leaving him there? He's bleeding out. Asian is suddenly back at the lab, but Alice walks in, and I don't know how she's doing this. How do you just walk into places? But she talks about the solution to this, and brings up that the antidote that Asian was given when the mom was poisoned actually gave her super blood somehow, and even though she is still a human, and even the most powerful antidote on Earth is still like in the realm of rationality, somehow this is something that can help the universe itself. Then back in the hospital, Mouse is getting a visit. This fucker drops a million hints for who he is, and Mouse is just sitting there and not getting it, even though he's being as subtle as a loading screen hint. Water is made out of water.
Water. Pure water.
Look at you, all grown up. You see, purpose in life is a hard thing to come by. My purpose, shielding my son from ridicule.
Hey, what's your name? Mouse? I'm your dad.
Who is this man?
Wait, Alice was mentioning before about how she wanted to transport the prisoner. That's what she said last time.
Just to transport the inmate?
When she snuck into the room, yet the prisoner is not being transported. Didn't that raise any alarm bells when she just walked out of the room and no one else came in to transport the prisoner? I've got a tiny little gurney and a tiny little bag. I'm taking him to tiny jail. How did he get here with this bag and the stuff that's in the bag without being searched by the guard? Mouse starts getting really uncomfortable with him, but he could have just screamed for help and the guards would come in to get him. If there was someone in the room, then none of this would have happened. The man is so confident as well that he takes his mask off too. I guess you have time to put it back on because no one's just gonna walk in. Damn, drop that skincare routine because you look exactly the same as you did like 20 years ago. Alice knocks out Asian and takes her blood. There are cuffs on the beds that she chooses not to do anything with them and just leaves Asian there to lie down, and is surprised when Asian gets up again. Alice somehow was able to beat up Kate, who has military training, but the Asian can just hit her with a phone and she gets knocked out. She just leaves Alice there after actually making sure that she uses the handcuffs on the bed and Alice can't leave, yet she still walks out without telling anyone, so Alice is able to use the phone to tattle on Wayne Manor so that the crows will come in and think that Beth is her. Asian could have just hung out and waited for Kate to come down after calling her or something. You have a terrible murderer here. You're gonna just walk away? Then the Popo shows up, so instead of putting everything into the Batcave or just having her in the Batcave in the first place to protect her, Kate runs out to stand on the balcony and gawk at everything for a while. She's still standing there the entire time when the crows are running up the stairs as well, so it takes Luke to run in, to scream at her to ask her what to do, and then begin to shut down the building and go through all of this nonsense before Kate's like, oh yeah, Batcave lol. Then Black Lightning walks into the room facing away from the bookcase. Great job, walk backwards into the room, good. But Alice starts hallucinating about the mum gloating at her, which I actually like, but I just really don't like the mum's acting, and I just think I wish it was in the better show. Asian implies somehow, and I don't really know why, that because their cells are disintegrating, that one of them getting the antidote will pause the disintegration just long enough for the other one to die first. When I would have thought that it should have been Beth who was dying, because Beth is the one that doesn't belong, so I don't know why Alice is dying too. And I'm still not sure how Asian's blood is going to provide a cure for something otherworldly, in essence.
You couldn't save your own mom and sister, so now you save every mom and sister.
No, she was a fucking child and now she has a complex. Kate gets a call from Asian and rushes off, and it's implied that Asian didn't actually tell them that she was at the bootleg hospital, which is very strange because when you have a murderer on the loose and your sister is almost dead, I would have thought that keeping tabs on everyone for an emergency was something that you wanted to do. She then explains all that bullshit to Kate about saving one of them using plant power, and then Kate actually considers saving Alice even though they have 20 minutes left, and Asian just knows cosmic things. Trust the wise exposition, Asian. She gives Kate the choice because it's Kate's sister after all, and it's just kind of frustrating that Kate actually thinks about saving Alice. She does come to her senses and goes to give Beth the life seed, and then she goes to Alice to cry over her and actually looks sad for the murderer that's dying right now. She gives Luke the order to move Beth, God knows what reason. Leave her in the Batcave, she is fine for now. I thought that the cave was equipped with stuff to help her. Why are you moving her? Luke blasts through the fucking cops and goes past. I don't even know. The evil dad got Mouse out of the hospital. I guess his bag really did have a tiny gunny in it. But then it's revealed that Black Lightning somehow knew where Beth was going. So they bust through the line of cops. And then the line of cops was like, yeah, they just came by here and we know exactly what road they're going down somehow. And then she shows up ahead of them. And then the dad who got Mouse out of the hospital in record time hijacked their conversation so that he could show up there instead and get the job done. You got some psychics on your force, man. So Beth gets shot and Alice wakes up and she's just good as new now. She sits up and looks angry and knocks Kate out and the episode ends. I mean, let me fucking tell you, I am seeing this through the end. We have like, I think 4, maybe 3 videos left of the series because of the way that I group episodes together to review them, and I am going to review season 2 if it's funny enough, but how am I going to survive this? We have some fun here with Batwoman, don't we? Anyways, yes, as I promised, we're going to talk about something else next time.
Cannot.